didn't just punish crime, it performed it. These were not executions meant to be quick. They were designed to terrify millions and to make sure no one ever dared to betray the empire again. 10 Roman punishments. Number 10. Poena tarpeia, death by crushing. Rome didn't always use swords or spikes. The Tarpeian rock was a cliff reserved for traitors and murderers. The condemned were thrown from the cliff onto jagged rocks below. Some were crushed instantly, others landed in agony. This public spectacle warned that betrayal meant a violent, humiliating death. #9. Burning alive. For arsonists or particularly heinous criminals, Rome sometimes used fire itself as punishment. Victims were chained or pinned to stakes, while torches or oil ignited the flames. The process could last minutes or hours, with onlookers witnessing the slow, excruciating destruction of the body. Number 8. Wheel of Death, breaking wheel. Criminals' limbs were shattered with heavy clubs or hammers and then woven into a spoked wheel. Some victims were left to die slowly, displayed on public roads for days. The message, rebellion or murder, would be met with unimaginable agony. #7. The sac and wild animals known as poena culae. Parasites were sewn into a leather sack with a dog, rooster, viper, and sometimes a monkey. Thrown into water, victims endured suffocation, animal attacks, and panic. Rome turned justice into performance art of horror. #6. Exposure to the elements. Some criminals were stripped and left in remote areas to die of heat, cold, or starvation, sometimes tied to stakes for days, preyed upon by birds and insects. Nature itself became a weapon of punishment. #5. Forced suicide. For high-ranking citizens guilty of treason, Rome sometimes offered mercy, the chance to take one's own life. A dagger was provided, but refusal meant execution in a far crueler way. Death became a performance of dignity, or humiliation. Number 4, the crossroads execution, crux simplex. Unlike crucifixion on highways, some executions used a single vertical stake. Victims were tied and left to die slowly. Public viewing ensured the fear spread through the city like wildfire. Number 3, damnatio ad bestias, death by animals, one of the most famous Roman punishments. Criminals were thrown into arenas with lions, bears, or other wild beasts. Slaves, Christians, and rebels often faced this fate, feeding spectators a horrifying spectacle of life and death. Sometimes animals were starved beforehand to ensure maximum terror. Number 2, gladiatorial execution. Not all gladiators fought by choice. Condemned criminals were sometimes forced to fight trained warriors or beasts in arenas. Their deaths were a show, entertainment that combined sport and horror. Failure meant slow, brutal death, sometimes after multiple rounds of fighting. Number 1, crucifixion, worst of all. And we return to the benchmark of terror, crucifixion. Hanging on the cross for hours or days, forced to carry the crossbeam, whipped beforehand, left to die slowly. It was Rome's ultimate statement. Rebellion, disobedience, or low status guaranteed excruciating punishment. Nothing else compared. These punishments weren't about justice. They were about fear, control, and power. In ancient Rome, death wasn't enough. Your suffering had to become a lesson. So ask yourself, in an empire built on terror, was survival ever really an option?